with another company, and the deal had been in progress. Yeah, I'd say about 6 months exactly, and we were getting close to the finish line. And just recently found out that the deal is not going to go through. Now, it's not like a no forever. It could actually go through at some point, but it's just not going to happen on the timetable that we wanted it. And of course, everything that you're the main character of your own life. So, if things don't happen on your timetable, you're like, well, it didn't work out because that's the timetable you wanted. For someone else, it's their timetable. But all that to say, you know, well, that says two things to me. It made me think of two things. One, it definitely made me think of stoicism. I've talked about this on the channel a bunch, but yeah, just how in entrepreneurship it forces you to be stoic, because if you get too excited when you win or too depressed when you lose, it just is emotionally uh, too chaotic. It's really hard to stay balanced, and you need to have a strong, balanced energy to be able to do consistent work as an entrepreneur, as a business person. So, the stoicism of entrepreneurship doesn't allow you to get too hyped up in any one direction. But I was thinking about all the L's that you need to take in order to really succeed in any endeavor. I wish people would understand truly how many L's you have to take in order to be successful in business or in athletics or in professional career, anything like that. It just takes so many losses, because ultimately, you know, losses are a part of either calibrating what you need to calibrate to win. They're a part of getting through the randomness of life, meaning that, some things are just 50-50, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and literally it's just a number of times attempted. And then also, um, losses are usually a signature of potentially something else leading to a bigger win on the other side if you can keep pushing. As Nipsey would say, the marathon continues. But I was thinking about how many L's a business owner, especially in particular, takes. So many L's, and it it really made me think of how we frame our perspective around our wins, right? Because what's up, Stevie? I see you. Because our wins, right? When we are first getting wins in any type of thing um, that we are working on, personal or professional, those wins usually feel pretty good because we're new to those things. So I was thinking about the first time that I was able to really start seeing progress as a freelancer. This is now like basically 15 years ago. And I figured out that, oh, if you have a skill, you can charge other people to help them, and they'd be happy to pay you, and you can get paid way more than working at a job. So the first time I tried that, I was teaching SAT test prep and ACT test prep. But I figured out that I could charge like $80 an hour to tutor people. And that was a huge unlock for me. And so I remember coming home from my first class, essentially teaching a class of about 20 students. And each student gave me $500 for, I think it was like a 6 or 8 week curriculum. Their parents, it was from their parents' money, but it was like SAT test prep. And so I remember walking home or driving home with a manila envelope full of cash and checks made out to me in my name. And that was the first time that I had that. I mean, it was like 22. So that was the first time I had like 10 grand that was mine um, at one time. And what an amazing feeling that was. Like, I write my first book basically. When that feeling happened, when that thing happened, I felt like I could have dunked on LeBron James. I felt like I could have fought Mike Tyson. Like, I felt so powerful, because I'm like, oh, I did this. Like, I had this idea, I put this thing out there, people responded, it worked, and that was so cool. Um, and looking back on that moment, it was a fantastic moment because it gave me a really nice validation, and it felt really, really good. And I look back on the sheer number, and I think to me now, obviously, sure, if you have $10,000, I'd be happy to have it. But $10,000 doesn't get me as riled up as it used to get me. It doesn't get me as excited, especially in today's economy. And but also, it's not just the dollar amount; it's also that type of win. Because I've had those types of wins a lot more in the past 15 years, it's not as exciting to me anymore. And it's just interesting how something that used to be a huge accomplishment shrinks in comparison to whatever your new goals are, whatever your new KPI is, whatever your new like target is, your past wins pale in comparison to what you're trying to accomplish today. And then you almost don't even appreciate things as much anymore. Like it takes a bigger and bigger win to get you excited about life. And I think about my life in the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur and how a lot of the things I was able to accomplish, while they were big wins, now they wouldn't register as much. And I think, man, it's all really a matter of perspective, right? Because we continually frame and reframe our expectations of our life based on what's happening around us and based on what we experience and what we accomplish. So if we're used to winning, then it takes more and more winning to feel like you're doing well. If you're used to losing, then you can take a small win and it feels like a huge, gigantic victory. And it's all in relation to what your expectations are, what your previous experiences are. And so nowadays, for instance, like I told you, I just had a deal I'm trying to close, it didn't go through. And this was a deal that would have been, depending on how we structured it, could have been, a $500,000 deal, basically. Like it was a several $100,000 deal, if not, up to $500,000. And I'm taking a lot bigger shots now. I'm taking bigger swings. I need to start taking even bigger swings than that. But, I'm taking bigger swings and I'm still, I'm getting rejected for sure. And but I can tell you though that obviously, like I would have been happy if we won like a $500,000 deal. I'd be very happy. But I'm not even sure if the emotional feeling would be as big on a $500,000 win as it was on that first $10,000 win, back 15 years ago. Because at that point, I hadn't experienced some of the emotions of really having things pay off. And when you have experienced that, then you shrink that the meaning of those smaller wins, and you only get excited if the bigger things happen. And I don't really think that's right. I think that we should be appreciative of all of our wins, over the course of our career. Not that we can't strive for more, we shouldn't strive for more, but just to acknowledge it. So yeah, sometimes if you're not feeling like you're winning a lot, maybe you're not even actually taking into account the times when you are winning. Oftentimes our bar is so high, at least I can speak for myself, my bar is so high and my expectations are so high of myself, that it's I will discount wins in order to set a bar that constantly moves. I'm at the park right now and it looks like these dogs are going to want to interact with each other. In that case, gotta go. See you next time.